A week in the life of a University of Exeter student studying on Penryn campus in Cornwall. I'm SJ, a second-year renewable energy student. Watch this week as I get up to a range of different activities and adventures, including sea swims, beach barbecues and coastal walks around Falmouth. This is of course all surrounding my studies. We're starting nice and early on Monday morning with a morning swim at Grebe Beach. It was so sunny today. It was such a beautiful and peaceful way to start my morning. I then went home, made a nice coffee, made a bagel for breakfast and headed off to uni. I actually walked in today, which takes about 25 minutes from the bottom of Penryn. I think I prefer that to having to live in Falmouth and getting the bus in every day, but I do think both have their advantages. So when I got onto campus, I had a meeting for my group project for my module Project Management. We were coming together today to discuss some initial design ideas for our next construction. This was followed by a little bit more work and then my friends gave me a lift home after. Tuesday morning was a quick trip to Asda, which I actually drove to today instead of walking to Lidl as I was feeling a little bit lazy. But I did go home and make a really nice lunch after with some of the stuff I bought. I then headed up to university, and as it was really sunny today, I went and sat in the walled garden, which is a really nice area on campus that's always really quiet, and it's really nice just to go and get a little bit of work done sometimes. Just as I was going home after, my friend actually gave me a quick ring and asked me if I wanted to come out with him on his boat. This is why living by the coast in Falmouth is sometimes so amazing, because you get to go and do crazy things like this just in the middle of a random university week. We then headed to the pub for an evening and called it a night. Wednesday morning it was also really sunny and a really lovely way to wake up. I went onto campus, walked around the gardens for a bit because they look so beautiful in the sun, and then I had a 2-hour lecture in the Chapel Lecture Theatre on campus. This was for my business lecture called Circular Enterprise Economy. Then when I got home, I put on a Beatles vinyl and got on with a little bit of work. For the evening today, we headed down to Mayham Beach and had a barbecue as the sun was setting, which was actually really lovely. We made some hot dogs and we did attempt to do some s'mores, but don't judge because they didn't particularly go very well. Thursday morning I had another lecture, of course, so back onto campus, walked up through the library and headed to the Renewable Energy Lab. I met up with some of my friends where we got a little bit up to date on some of the work we had due in soon. Here's a quick tour of the RE Lab. There's lots of great equipment, etc. in here, and the views from the office at the front are so lovely. I love having to get my work done in here. And then it was time to head home because I wanted to go into town. Here's me in my car on the way into Falmouth. Stopped first at the Cornish Bakery, which is a little cafe in town where I had a nice pastry and a coffee. I then had a wander through the different shops, stopped and got some bracelets that I really didn't need, but I thought I could treat myself. Looked at the pretty views from the dock. In the evening I headed to the gym with one of my friends. This is St Michael's Gym in Falmouth by Gilly Beach. This is us just before we went into the gym. We did a little bit of treadmill and then we did some weights in their outside section. After that we used their sauna and steam room facilities, and here's us looking bright red and rosy cheeked after. Friday was actually a really interesting one. We had a presentation for our module called Green Consultants. This was quite a nerve-wracking thing as it was a 20-minute presentation, I think the longest any of us have ever done before. We did some rehearsing in the morning and then it was time to head up to the Daphne du Maurier building to get ready. Here was us in our really smart shirts. Finally it was done and of course we decided to head to the pub again after. The sun was setting and it again looked so beautiful. We played some trivia that of course I lost, and then I headed home, put on a film and had a lovely end of my evening. Saturday morning I was back onto campus at 9 AM due to the fact I had a Dance Society showcase. This is an annual event all of the dance societies come together to put on, which is so amazing because you get to work with all of the different groups of people, so like the tap, the ballroom and Latin, etc. And it's a really fun day of rehearsals and practicing on stage before, in the evening, you put on your makeup, you get your hair done, you wear a costume, and we go on stage to perform to family and friends. Here's a little snippet of some of our dances. And then on Sunday, to end the week, we decided to go for a little walk. This one was around a town called Myla, which is fairly close to Falmouth, and it took us about 2 hours. We walked around the coastal path and we saw some really pretty views. And then at the end we got some hot chocolate, enjoyed more of the views, and had a very good end to our weekend. Thank you guys for watching, hope you enjoyed.